Hey there YouTube, this is Silent coming with you another deck profile, but this time I'm doing a little mini series. This is episode 1 of Overdress into Premium, where I take Overdress decks and turn them into premium decks and show you how. So today we're going to start with Baromagnes, who's already had a unique playstyle similar to the old Dark Irregular playstyle of soul charging and gaining power off of how many cards you have in your soul. So we're going to jump right into it and start the video. So we played 4 copies of Baromagnes. So for those who play Overdress, you should be barely familiar with Baromagnes. So his skill states: when he attacks, counterblast 1, perform all the abilities down below for the number of cards you have in your soul. 5 or more, draw 1 card. 10, 10k in a crit. 15 or more, both players put all of their Irregulars into the soul, then you call 2 out and give them plus 10k power. This is going to become prevalent later down in the playstyle in this deck profile, and you'll see why. So in addition to that, we're playing another set of grade 3s, which are Number of Terror. So you might be wondering why I'm not playing Curtis, because Number of Terror does a bit of a better job at what I needed to do for this deck. Number of Terror states on Rearguard and Guardian Circle, if there are 10 or more cards in your soul, he either gets 10k power or 10k shield, so you can guard and defend yourself a little bit better. Then in addition to that, when it attacks, if you have 10 or more cards in your soul, you can eat up one of your cards and put it into the soul and then draw 2 cards. This gives you soul economy and hand economy. Not only that, is a decent 22k beater. Next, we're going to go straight into the grade 2s. We're playing 4 copies of Emblem Master. So Emblem Master was a great addition to the V series as a retrain of the old Emblem Master. So this skill states: Vanguard or Guardian Circle. If you have 7 or more cards in your soul, it gets either plus 5k power or 5k shield, making this another 10k shield. In addition to that, when placed on Vanguard or Irregular Circle, you can counterblast 1, choose any unit on your board, including the Vanguard Circle, soul charge 3 copies of that card from your deck or drop zone, and add them to your soul. So on place, he is a plus 3 to your soul. Next, we play 4 copies of another SS07 card. We're playing 4 copies of Phantasmal Executioner. So Phantasmal here is in a placeholder of Electro Spartan, and the case being on place, you can soul charge 2, but he does it a bit differently, and he works very better towards his playstyle, which is act, on place, not on place, act, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's Irregulars and retire it, and then soul charge 2. But keep in mind that if your opponent has something on their board, you still get that plus 2 to the soul. And finally, as our late game ender, in most cases, we play 4 copies of Baromagnes Repressor. So this card works in tandem to Baromagnes' skill, which this card is Generation Break 2, so after you already throw twice or once in some cases, if your soul has 8 or more cards in the soul, this unit gets plus 10k power, and your opponent cannot guard with grade 0s from their hand. So in junction to Baromagnes' skill, which can pop this card out, making it a 29k beater with a 0 guard restrict. Not to mention that you persona roll, making it a 39, and any trigger you were to place on top of this. So now we're going to jump right into the grade 1s. We're playing 4 copies of Doreen the Thruster. Now you may be wondering why I'm not playing Killer Tail. Well, with the Baromagnes playstyle, it doesn't really help you that much, seeing how Baromagnes is going to suck it back into the soul, and then there's really no way of getting it back out. So I chose Doreen as a early turn aggressor, that if you ride it on the Vanguard Circle first, due to our starter skill, which I'm going to go to in a minute, you can make Doreen a 11k, 16k, or 21k attacking first Vanguard. So if you really need to drill that power in, the first damage in, she's your girl. But not to mention that her power also works on Rearguard Circle, so with all the soul charging that you're doing for Baromagnes to get them up to 15, she's sitting in the back row, becoming a monster of a booster or a monster of a beat stick. Next, we play 4 copies of Vieira, Dimension Creeper. This card is iconic to what is Dark Irregulars. This card states, act in the soul, you can move it to the drop zone to soul charge 2. So basically it's a -1 +1 in card economy in your soul. That alone can help with Doreen skill boosting up or getting to Baromagnes +15. Now you may also be wondering why I'm not playing the other version of Dimension Creeper, which is Werewolf Keeger. The reason why, preference. Dimension Creeper has a triple for foiling. I'm waiting for Keeger to get his. So our last grade when we play in this deck, we played 4 copies of Vieira Alluring Succubus. So Alluring Succubus says, act, counterblast 1, put into the soul, check top 7 for up to 2 grade 3s, reveal them. If you reveal 2, 1 goes into the soul, 1 goes into the hand. But if you only revealed 1, that unit goes to the hand. Keep that in mind. Now the reason why I play her over Succubus of Pure Love is simple. She's a +1 to the soul and a dig for 7, where Pure Love is just a dig for 5 for 1. Her dig is for 2. So I can actually build this. I can actually do 2 to the soul, 1 to the hand, and build my card economy that way. She's just an overall better grade 3 searcher in my opinion. So now we're gonna go to the grade 0s. We play 2 starters in this deck. We play Spade Jack of Nightmareland and a Magnet Assassin. So the reason why we play Spade Jack is for the simple fact of the matter, he sets up our soul early. So if we were to, as I said before, ride Doreen the Thruster, Jack allows us to draw a card and put a card from our hand into the soul. For example, Dimension Creeper. Or if we had a Magnet Assassin in our hand to put Assassin into the soul to set up early. But if we have Dimension Creeper in the soul, we can Soul Blast it and Soul Charge 2 more, making her a 21k first Vanguard. First grade 1 Vanguard. So having Jack be able to help you propagate your soul early is very paramount to the formula of this deck. Now the reason why we're playing Magnet Assassin is for simple. It allows multi-attack in the deck besides Baromagnes. Its skill states, when you go into your battle phase, when you're about to attack your opponent, you can pop it out of the soul. If you have 10 or more cards, it gains +5. If you have 15 or more cards, it gains +10, making it a 20k attacking unit or a 20k boosting unit. Then with Baromagnes skill, you can pop it back into the soul, go on to your next attack, and pop it right back out. There is no limit to how many times this card can come out of the soul as long as you're able to get it back into the soul. So now we're going to go into our triggers. So of course we're playing the 1 Dark Stakes over trigger. We're playing 4 copies of what I recommend to be the best stand trigger in the game since we lost Toro, which is Monochrome of Nightmareland, which states act counterblast 1, put this card on top of your deck. And counter charge 1. If you have, soul charge 1. My apologies. Shuffle your deck and soul charge 1. If you have 6 or more cards in your soul, counter charge 1. If you have 10 or more cards in your soul, draw 1 card. So this is a pseudo Omni trigger. You counter charge, you draw 1, you soul charge, and then you filter a trigger back into your deck. Next, keeping in theme with the Nightmareland package, we play 4 copies of March Rabbit of Nightmareland. This is our draw PG. We need certain pieces in our hand, but we don't want too many drawing abilities because we might deck ourselves out. But it is a Nightmareland unit. Next, we play 4 copies of Alice of Nightmareland and 3 copies of Dark Knight of Nightmareland. So we're basically playing Rainbow in this deck, seeing how the Dark Stakes over trigger kind of works as another critical trigger in our deck. So we're kind of playing Rainbow here. You could be asking, why am I not playing the Stride Crit or the Counter Charge Soul Charge heals? For the simple fact of the matter is, I wanted to keep in theme of Nightmareland. As you notice, almost all of my zeros are Nightmareland units. Back in G, I did play the Nightmareland deck pretty heavily for Dark Regulars, and it was my favorite. So I was a little bit disappointed that Bushiroad never finished the archetype. It never got its full fleshed out deck form. So I'm hoping somewhere down the road, maybe in the next Vieira set, we get some Nightmare Lane units. I don't, unless they want to make a brand new archetype. This is the last archetype in Vanguard for Dark Irregulars that they could touch upon. So here's fingers crossed. So that is the entire main deck. We're gonna go into the GZone, talk about that a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap this video up. So due to the 2021 ban list, we lost Gastille as our main stride for Dark Irregulars. So now the question is, what's going to fill the void? And it's a good question. So as of right now, I'm playing 2 copies of One Who Splits Darkness Blader Mouse for still trigger recurrence. I play as my first stride One Who Hunts Souls Balam for quadrizing and popping my opponent's rear guards. I play 2 copies of Darkness Unleashed Fear Hell. Yeah, Fear Hell. This card works similar to Blader. This card is basically a duel of Blader Mouse and Balam. So Fear Hell says, when this unit attacks, you can soul charge 2, and then for every 5 cards in your soul, choose one of your rear guards and give it plus 5k power. Then if 3 or more number cards in your soul, if the number cards in your soul are 13 or more, you can choose 4 cards from your soul with different grades, so a 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3. Send them back to the deck, and then for each one sent back, this unit gets plus 5k power. So you can literally, if you soul charge your over trigger, you can send your over trigger back with either this card or Blader Mouse. Next, we play 1 copy of Great Demon Soulless Damagul. Damagul is where, in my opinion, where Gastille kind of got its ability from, because Damagul says on Vanguard Circle, every time you stride, every time you soul charge, your front row gains 1k. Not 10k, but 1k. Where Gastille gave 3k power to the front row, Damagul gives 1k. This was the original Gastille. So this is where I think they got the passive ability from, and we can now go back to it. I play 1 copy of Progenitor Dragon of Gloomy Dark Famito. So Famito's here is just to nuke your opponent's board if they're overzealous on their first grade 3 turn. Gold Paladin, pretty much any Excel clan, Aquaforce. If they're flooding their board and you're going your first stride and you have nothing on your board, Famito can literally wipe them all out and fill your soul up and draw you some cards. So if you're able to end the game, and you want to be a little fancy about it, you can go into Xerath Dragon of End of World Dusk. So Dusk states, on place, Counterblast 2, reduce your opponent's front row units down to 1, their grades go to 1, and their power goes to 1. Not 1,000, just 1. And then from there, it allows your lower K units to really nail into your opponent's Vanguard. So for G Guardians, we play 2 copies of Medical Studies of Extinction Vincent. This card just states, on place, flip over another G Guardian, soul charge 1, then its shield goes up plus 5 for every 5 cards in your soul. So if you have 15, it becomes a 30k shield, so on and so forth. Next, we play 2 copies of Acclimatic Attachment Duru Nusu. Well, states simple. If your soul has 8 or more cards, it gets 10k to the shield. Then if you have a darkness unit, you can put that card in your soul and draw a card. Unfortunately, we don't play too many darkness cards. I think Imagining Assassin is the only darkness unit that we have in the deck, so if you have it in your hand, play it on rear guard, go into this, draw 1 card, but still, having 10k to your shield is nothing to scoff at. And then our last G Guardian we play is False Dark Wings Agrat Bat Malat. This card states, on place, soul charge 2, gain 5k to the shield. Simple and straightforward. So I believe this is where my GZone is going to be resting at for right now. There's really not much more that I could put into the GZone to make it any more better. Gastille was our saving grace as a first turn kill stride. Understandably why it got hit, I understand, but it will be missed. I will not be. Usually, I would go into how to play the deck and things like that, but the deck is pretty much straightforward. There's really not much that I can go into to tell you how to play the deck or anything like that. Get your soul to 15, stride if necessary. If not, swing for Baromagnes for game. So, if you guys liked what you saw, if you have any questions, any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can be aware of next time that I upload. This is episode 1 of Overdress into Premium. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, we'll see you later.